The art of Bordeaux blend is actually a very subjective exercise. First, because in modern days, people consider that Bordeaux blend are necessarily Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Malbec, Cabernet Franc, and Petit Verdot. We all know that there's new cultivars now allowed in Bordeaux. We don't know how it will play a role, but in history, some parts, especially in the Medoc, were planted with a lot of syrah. And it was famous, and Australian understood that Syrah and Cabernet Sauvignon can blend very well, and sometimes the Syrah gives to the Merlot the spiciness that the Merlot is lacking. Holden Manz Proprietors Reserve 2015 is a blend mostly made of Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and a little touch of Cabernet Franc. Franschhoek origin, one of the most exciting new seller in the region. The Proprietors Blend 2015 is as well one of the best year we had for red grapes over the last decade. So what's in your glass, Cathy?
Deliciousness.
Oh, that starts well.
Look, Gerald, one of the partners in this enterprise, describes himself as a big bear of a man, and he is a really tall man with a fair amount of muscle and flesh on him. And it's how he describes himself. And he is very proud of the fact that this wine is also big, bold, powerful, and not scared to be that. Having said that, I actually find the wine to be quite elegant. It's got a deep color, still opaque in the center for a 2015, but showing some gradation. You can almost
You
see
can find
the
some
little,
orangey hint on the side.
yeah,
right?
the orangey hint on the side, and almost, you know, when you see that little black bits flailing away, almost like smoke.
But it's still very intense in the middle.
Absolutely.
You cannot see through.
You
It's
can't see through it.
a powerful color.
Color. And on the nose, lots of red and black fruits. I'm picking up ripeness maybe in a sense of a little bit of prunes, but there's plums, there's red and black plums in fact, blackberries, red berries, and then prunes, and some very sweet prunes in fact, and just a light spicing of the oak. Oak is not
the oak is very well integrated.
Very well
it's just
integrated.
supporting the wine, but there's no, it's very easy to try to make a wine taste like it's rich by putting too much oak and misusing what the oak should be. It's just a support for the balance of the wine. And I think that's a very good example in this wine, how it can be powerful and people would be tempted to beef it up with more oak to make it of a show winner, where actually that's a wine you can drink. It shows some, as you say, it's big, it's bold, but it's elegance underneath supporting the wine.
Absolutely. So when you put it in your mouth, the focus is actually the fruit. The focus is not the oak, and the focus is not the acidity. So, and that I think is what they wanted to showcase, is the beautiful fruit that the property can deliver. That's not to say that there isn't structure. Of course there's structure, but the oak is well integrated, and also the alcohol is well integrated. It's 14.5%, but you don't get a sense of heat or ripeness at all through it.
As well on the texture, I find from the first perception on the palate, you have this grainy texture that continues and continues and continues, showing that maybe it's been a long barrel aging, but it really tamed the tannins to make them behave well, still be present, especially with 1/3 of Cabernet Sauvignon into it, plus the pepperiness that Syrah is bringing to the blend, and often the spiciness balancing the round plummy side of the Merlot. But the texture is well preserved, and you have, I think that's probably why the alcohol as well is so integrated for a very ripe wine, because there's an equilibrium between all the parts. But the texture is something that you will find, and you don't find often, this long lingering texture that doesn't seem to change as it goes. It's
Correct.
still here on the tongue, showing that it's a wine that can develop gracefully into the bottle because it shows some continuity in the tasting.
Absolutely.
But I think like say Cathy's, maybe we'll drink it now.
Okay.
2015 is a very generous vintage. It's delicious now. Sure, this wine can benefit from more years in the bottle, but it shows a good balance now.
And it's a successful blend
It's a
of
successful blend.
the Rhone and Bordeaux,
Yeah. Or the old Bordeaux.
or the old Bordeaux. Cheers.
Cheers.